They lied to you about discipline, not maliciously, not conspiratorially, but effectively enough that you have been fighting the wrong enemy your entire life. You were told that discipline is a virtue possessed by the strong, that some people wake up with fire in their veins while others wake up with excuses, that if you fail to execute, fail to wake early, fail to grind when no one is watching, it is because something inside you is weak, and so you judged yourself. You called yourself lazy. You called yourself inconsistent. You believed that somewhere inside your character there was a fracture that others did not have. But here is the truth that changes everything. You were never weak. You were misled. Your brain is not designed for greatness. It is designed for survival. And survival does not reward ambition. It rewards efficiency. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors did not wake up to chase abstract dreams. They woke up to avoid death, to conserve energy, to secure immediate reward, to reduce risk. Every calorie mattered. Every unnecessary movement could cost survival. The human brain became a master of conservation. It evolved to seek comfort, minimize effort, and pursue predictable pleasure. Now look at your life. You are asking a brain wired for survival to build a business, to sculpt a body, to write books, to study for exams that promise rewards months or years away, to delay gratification in a world engineered to deliver it instantly. And when you fail, you blame your character. This is not a character problem. This is a strategic failure. You are trying to win a modern war with prehistoric software. Understand something crucial. Your brain does not hate success. It hates uncertainty and wasted energy. It does not sabotage you because it is flawed. It resists you because from its perspective you are engaging in expensive, uncertain behavior. Scrolling your phone gives immediate dopamine. It is safe. It is effortless. It requires no risk, no cognitive strain. Writing a page, risk, effort, delayed reward. Training your body, pain, energy expenditure, no immediate survival benefit. From the brain's perspective, the choice is obvious. And this is where most people lose. They try to overpower biology with motivation. They declare war against their own wiring. They chant affirmations. They watch inspirational videos. They promise themselves that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow rarely is. Because willpower is a finite resource, and the brain always wins long wars. The disciplined few are not stronger. They are strategic. They do not fight their nature. They exploit it. Power has always belonged to those who understand the game beneath the surface. Those who recognize that humans are not rational creatures guided by logic, but predictable creatures guided by incentives, environment, and identity. If you truly want discipline, you must stop trying to feel disciplined. You must redesign the battlefield. Consider this carefully. Behavior is rarely a product of intention. It is a product of friction. What is easy gets done. What is difficult gets delayed. Not because you lack ambition, but because your brain is an efficiency machine. Remove friction, behavior flows. Add friction, behavior dies. Most people set goals. Few design systems, and goals without systems are emotional fantasies. If you want to train in the morning, but your clothes are buried in a drawer, your shoes misplaced, your alarm beside your bed, and your phone filled with notifications, you have already lost before sunrise. You believe you are battling laziness. In reality, you are battling design. Your couch is accessible. Your phone is charged. Entertainment is frictionless. Comfort is engineered. Meanwhile, effort is inconvenient. The brain does not choose virtue. It chooses the path of least resistance. Those who appear disciplined understand something ruthless. Control the environment, and you control behavior. Make the right action easier than the wrong one. This is not motivation. This is architecture. If your phone distracts you, remove it from the room. If junk food tempts you, remove it from the house. If studying feels overwhelming, reduce it to 5 minutes. Not because 5 minutes is impressive, but because starting is the hardest part. Initiation consumes the most energy. Once movement begins, inertia takes over. This is how power operates in the real world, not through force, through positioning. In politics, in business, in war, the one who controls the terrain controls the outcome. Your life is no different. You do not need to become stronger than your impulses. You need to make your impulses irrelevant. Place the book on your pillow. Lay the workout clothes beside your bed. Schedule meetings that require preparation. make failure inconvenient. When success becomes the default option, discipline becomes automatic. But there is a deeper layer. Even with a perfectly designed environment, many still falter. Why? Because beneath systems lies identity, and identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. People do not act in alignment with their goals. They act in alignment with who they believe they are. If you believe you are someone who struggles with consistency, you will subconsciously sabotage consistency. If you believe you are not a morning person, you will protect that identity like a fragile crown. Your brain seeks coherence more than progress. Change requires identity friction. This is why small actions matter more than dramatic declarations. Every time you execute, even briefly, you cast a vote for a new identity, not a grand transformation, a quiet shift. I am someone who shows up. I am someone who trains. I am someone who finishes what I start. These statements are not affirmations. They are consequences of repeated action. Identity is not built by thinking. It is built by evidence, and evidence accumulates through micro-victories. Most people wait to feel like the type of person who acts. Powerful people act first, then let identity catch up. There is a brutal truth in this. Discipline is not heroic. It is mechanical. It is the result of aligning environment, reducing friction, and reinforcing identity through repetition. Remove drama, remove emotion, remove the fantasy of motivation. Operate strategically. Procrastination is not laziness. It is an intelligent brain avoiding expensive behavior. Ask yourself, is the task obvious? Is it easy to begin? Is it rewarding in the short term? Or have you made it abstract, complex, and emotionally draining? You do not fail because you are incapable. You fail because you have not engineered inevitability. Make the action so small it feels almost insulting. 2 minutes of writing, 5 push-ups, 1 paragraph read. The ego resists small beginnings. It wants transformation, not progress. Ignore the ego. Consistency beats intensity. And here is where many misunderstand the game. You do not need to love the process. You need to normalize it. Passion is unstable. Systems are durable. The successful do not wake up excited every day. They wake up and execute because the alternative feels stranger than the action itself. When behavior becomes routine, resistance fades. Do not chase enjoyment. Chase inevitability. Make skipping harder than showing up. Schedule accountability. Automate reminders. Remove distractions. Simplify decisions. Decision fatigue is real. The more choices you face, the more depleted your willpower becomes. Reduce decisions, and you reduce resistance. Eat the same breakfast. Train at the same time. Work in the same location. Standardize the environment. This is not rigidity. It is leverage. When the structure holds you, you do not need constant strength. The world has convinced you that greatness requires extreme motivation. In reality, greatness requires strategic laziness. Design life so that the correct action demands less energy than avoidance. And suddenly, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It feels natural. But there is still something deeper that must be confronted. You may design perfectly, you may reduce friction, you may begin small. Yet if your internal narrative remains unchanged, sabotage returns. Because humans protect identity more fiercely than comfort. If you have always been the inconsistent one, changing that threatens psychological stability. Familiar suffering feels safer than unfamiliar growth. So you must redefine yourself deliberately, not through fantasy, through repetition. Every action is a political statement in the republic of your mind. Vote carefully. Do not aim to become disciplined. Aim to become the type of person who does not negotiate with commitments. There is power in non-negotiation. When you remove internal debate, you remove exhaustion. I train at 6, not I will see how I feel. I write daily, not when inspiration comes. Emotion fluctuates. Identity endures. You do not rise to goals, you fall to standards. Raise the standard of who you believe you are, and behavior follows. But be patient. Identity shifts slowly. It requires consistency beyond emotion. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people quit before identity has time to evolve. They expect rapid transformation. When discomfort appears, they assume misalignment. Discomfort is not misalignment, it is transition. The old identity resists displacement. Persist long enough, and the new identity solidifies. Then what once required effort becomes automatic, and when automatic, it becomes powerful. You do not need to dominate yourself. You need to outmaneuver yourself. Understand your wiring. Exploit your environment. Reinforce your identity. This is not self-help. This is strategy. And strategy always defeats brute force. There is a level beyond habit, a level beyond systems, a level beyond environment, and almost no one talks about it, because it requires something far more uncomfortable than waking up early or deleting social media. It requires confronting the silent negotiations you have with yourself. Most people do not fail because they lack systems. They fail because they are divided. One part wants growth, another part wants comfort. One part wants dominance, another wants relief. One part seeks expansion, another seeks safety. And every day, these parts negotiate. The problem is not that you lose. The problem is that you negotiate at all. Powerful individuals remove internal democracy. They do not allow every impulse a vote. They decide once, and once decided, the matter is closed. This is where discipline transforms from behavior into authority. When you wake up and the alarm rings, there is a microsecond where debate begins. 5 more minutes. Today is different. You deserve rest. This debate drains more energy than the action itself. The weak try to win the debate daily. The strategic remove debate entirely. There is no argument, there is only execution. This shift alone separates those who drift from those who dominate. But how do you remove internal negotiation? You anchor behavior to identity so deeply that contradiction feels offensive. If you see yourself as someone who trains, skipping training is not just laziness, it is identity betrayal, and humans will tolerate discomfort before they tolerate identity collapse. This is the true leverage. When behavior becomes proof of who you are, it stops feeling optional. Most people attempt to build habits while keeping their old identity intact. I'm trying to be more disciplined. That sentence alone signals conflict. Trying implies temporary. Temporary implies negotiable. Replace it with certainty. I am disciplined. At first, this feels like a lie. But every small action makes it less false. Identity is not declared. It is accumulated. Each repetition is a vote. Each execution is reinforcement. Eventually, the evidence outweighs the doubt, and something subtle happens. You stop asking whether you feel like it. You begin asking whether it aligns. This is a different standard entirely. Feelings fluctuate. Alignment does not, but there is another dimension few understand. Pain avoidance drives more behavior than pleasure seeking. The brain fears loss more than it desires gain. Use this. If comfort is attractive, make stagnation painful. Track your progress publicly. Attach social accountability. Tie financial consequences to inaction. Create visible reminders of the cost of delay. When the price of avoidance exceeds the discomfort of action, behavior shifts automatically. This is not cruelty toward yourself. It is intelligent leverage. You are not punishing yourself. You are aligning incentives. Remember, your brain responds to immediate consequences. So create immediate consequences. Do not wait for long-term regret. Make the cost visible today. And equally important, make the reward immediate. Celebrate completion, even in small ways. Mark the calendar. Record the streak. Feel the satisfaction deliberately. The brain encodes satisfaction quickly. When effort becomes associated with completion rather than struggle, resistance decreases. But here is where many sabotage themselves. They overreach. They attempt transformation through intensity instead of durability. They train 2 hours on day 1, write 10 pages, study for 6 hours, and when exhaustion arrives, they interpret fatigue as failure. Intensity is seductive. Consistency is superior. A small habit repeated relentlessly outperforms heroic bursts. You are not building a week, you are building a system that must survive years. So ask yourself, could I do this even on my worst day? If not, reduce it. Your system must function under stress. Because stress is inevitable. Life will not clear the schedule for your self-improvement. If your habits depend on perfect conditions, they will collapse at the first disruption. Design for chaos. Keep the baseline small. Expansion can come later, but durability must come first. There is also a psychological trap hidden inside ambition: comparison. You observe others executing flawlessly. posting results, displaying discipline. You assume they possess something you lack. They do not. They simply engineered better systems and reinforced identity longer. Do not compare outcomes. Compare structure. Ask what environment supports their behavior. What routines remove friction? What identity do they protect? Steal the structure, not the spotlight. Another uncomfortable truth. Boredom is part of mastery. Repetition feels ordinary. Ordinary feels unimpressive. But greatness hides inside repetition. When you repeat the same constructive action daily, it will not feel dramatic. It will feel mundane. And this is where many quit. They expect progress to feel extraordinary, but progress often feels quiet. Invisible shifts compound. Small improvements accumulate. The body changes slowly. The mind sharpens gradually. Skill deepens subtly. One day, you notice distance from your old self. Not because of one dramatic act, but because of relentless ordinary execution. This is the silent power most overlooked. Discipline is not loud, it is consistent. Now consider the concept of emotional detachment. Most people tie their mood to their output. If they feel low, output decreases. If they feel energized, output rises. This is unstable. Detach performance from emotion. You can feel tired and still execute. You can feel uninspired and still write. You can feel resistance and still train. Emotions are weather. Behavior is architecture. Weather changes daily. Architecture remains. The more you separate mood from action, the more stable your results become. This requires maturity. It requires accepting that not every action will feel meaningful in the moment, but meaning emerges in hindsight. Trust accumulation, trust compounding, trust structure. There is a final dimension to understand. Self-respect. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, self-respect increases. Each time you break it, it decreases. And self-respect is the invisible fuel of discipline. Without it, identity fractures. With it, identity strengthens. So do not promise what you cannot sustain. Under-promise to yourself. Over-deliver in action. Protect your word internally. If you decide to train 3 times per week, train 3 times, not 5, not 0. Keep the contract. Over time you will trust yourself more, and when self-trust increases, resistance decreases. Because you no longer question your follow-through. You become predictable to yourself, and predictability breeds power. Now understand this clearly. You will never eliminate resistance entirely. The brain will always prefer comfort, but preference does not dictate outcome. Structure does. Identity does. Environment does. Remove friction. Reduce negotiation. Reinforce identity. Align incentives. Detach from emotion. Protect self-respect. And discipline becomes a byproduct, not an achievement, a byproduct. You do not wake up one day transformed. You wake up one day realizing that what once required effort now feels normal. That is the shift. That is the quiet victory. And from there, something profound happens. You begin to see yourself differently, not as someone trying to improve, but as someone who executes. And when that belief solidifies, external results accelerate, because consistency compounds faster than bursts of passion ever could. So the choice before you is not whether you are capable, it is whether you are willing to redesign the game. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop demanding excitement. Stop negotiating with comfort. Design inevitability. Build structure. Vote daily for the identity you want. And let time do what time always does. Compound. Years from now you will not remember the mornings you did not feel like acting. You will remember the identity you built through action. And you will understand something most never grasp. Discipline was never about strength. It was about strategy. Now the question is not whether you feel ready. The question is whether you are finished negotiating with your potential. Because once you stop negotiating, execution becomes power. And power, when structured correctly, becomes freedom.